These catwomen leave food by my car every night and attracting raccoon.
You park in the same spot every day?
I have a camera in my window. The parking lot is completely empty. I see a car circling.
There is no law against feeding animals.
In some towns there are laws against feeding wild animals.
We don't have any law against feeding an animal.
Some towns do.
We don't. It's not against the law. It's not a crime. Why would it be a crime to feed an animal? People want to feed animals.
It is absolutely a crime in many towns to feed wild animals.
Really?
Many towns have serious penalties for even feeding ducks.
Yeah? Well, we don't.
Wow. That is crazy. Anyway, she's leaving the food under my car because the landlord cracked down on it. There were women, 4 or 5 of them, who worked for the eye doctor who were feeding the cats, and after the landlord cracked down on it, they were resentful and they knew I was the one who brought it to the landlord's attention. They were bitter and resentful because there were about 20 cats. So, they now lie awake at night, thinking up schemes and evil plots against me. But there was litter every day and they were attracting raccoon. I have paid over $250,000 rent to this property of the past 18 years and was tired of dodging rabid raccoon and rummaging through rubbish in order to get into my automobile every evening.
So?
There are raccoon eating cat food every night. Someone is going to get bit and get rabies, that is the concern. Besides, the mess.
We don't have any law against feeding rabid animals.
Well, then can I at least find out who she is so I can go put dog food on her lawn?
Do you know who she is?
I don't know who she is. I assume she is a friend of the woman at the eye doctor's. She drives a green minivan, PLY 94M.
Okay, well, you know what? If you have the plates I can try to see who she is and, the only thing I can do is ask her not to put it under your car.
But this is private property. The landlord asked people not to feed the feral animals.
Okay.
I don't understand how you can go on private property and do something you're asked not to do.
Well, does the landlord not want her on the property?
The landlord sent out notices to all the business here for the employees not to feed the feral animals.
Okay, well, if the landlord, who owns the property, doesn't want her on the property, then the landlord is going to have to come forward and voice his concern.
I have the letter from the landlord, but I assume the woman doesn't work here. I hope she does, because then maybe she will get in trouble with her employer.
Do you have a bathroom key for my silent partner? I can ask the woman not to leave the food under your car. Was that one time that she did that?
This has been going on for months.
But is it always under your car?
Not always.
Well, I don't think she is targeting your car. It is not like it is some angry woman who you banned from your income tax practice 12 years ago who has been plotting for over a decade for a way to get revenge.
The thing is, if it is who we think it is a friend of the women at the eye doctor because they were very defiant. I have hours of video and pictures of them sneaking food to cats. When I got the landlord involved, they got very pissed off and became defiant. I mean, can't I file an harassment complaint?
That's not harassment.
Well, if she was intentionally leaving it by my car.
But you just said it was an isolated thing.
That is not what I said, copcat. I said they have been doing it for months, but not literally every day.
It is not like she is putting cat food under your car and only your car.
Actually, cat cop, that is exactly what it is. Last night there was not one car anywhere for a half mile. She pulls it at 9:10 p.m. and idles right in front of my vehicle. I am the only person here at night.
Do you park the same place every night?
The same spot for 15 years. I have pictures of her in front of my car.
One time is not harassment.
Have you heard even one thing I have said, copcat?
And, again, did you call our animal shelter? Because there are thousands of stray cats. And a lot of people are going to feed stray animals. They feel bad for them.
It is a very bad idea to feed feral cats. It increases the population, attracts wild animals and spreads rabies. A lot of towns have laws against it. I am surprised Edson does not. Your silent partner was in the men's room a long time. Zoe, grab 2 cans of Febreze and head for the gentleman's lavatory.
We do not have a law against feeding feral cats. And my silent partner finally spoke and says, if we did, it would be an ordinance, not a law.
I do not know the distinction between a law and an ordinance.
It is not, quote, a crime, you know. I'll see who she is.
Maybe you can just scare her.
There are a lot of animal rights activists out there.
Are there any activists for tax dudes paying $18,000 in rent every year who wish to avoid being bitten by rabid raccoon?
You know what? If I saw a cat, I'd feed it?
If it was on my property.
Is this your property?
I have explained several times that I rent this property. Do you understand the concept of renting, cat cop? If I am renting an automobile, does that mean that any squatter who likes can occupy the vehicle and only the leasing company is allowed to call the cops to evict them?
If the landlord wants to come forward, let the landlord come forward. And, if he sees someone on the property, off hours, and he doesn't want her there, we can ask that person to leave the property because it is his property.
I have emails from the landlord showing he is supporting me on this.
Let him come forward.
We don't know who she is, that is the problem.
If he wants to sit here, at night, so that he could call, we would be happy to come here. We are around the clock. We can come here when she is here and say, ma'am, this is not your property. You can do what you want with wild animals as long as it is not on the private property of the victim. You are not the victim.
I am the one dodging wild animals every night at 11 p.m. And what if Donald Trump is the landlord? Would he have to sit in the parking lot every evening in order to keep out squatters and Catwoman? Or what if the property is owned by a real estate investment trust and I owned only 1 share? Then could I be a victim, cop cat?